Howdy, folks. I am Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Having a Scary Cat Around Children? I'm a 27-year-old male, and I have a cat named Stargazer. I adopted her around 3 years ago, and she's truly a little survivor. She was abused, and as a result, she has no eyes and only 3 legs. Nobody wanted to adopt her because of her deformities, and she also is a black cat, so I did because she was going to be euthanized otherwise. My sister moved into the city this week, and her and her husband, both 43, needed someone to watch the kids since they were going to have a grown-up celebration party. I agreed. Both my nieces are 11, so they're not too little for me to handle, and I also thought it would be great enrichment for my cat since she loves children and women. I'm the only man she trusts. My nieces loved her, and while they first were a little scared, they thought she was cute after a while. My sister went to pick them up, and as the bell rang, my cat went running also to the door, and when my sister saw her, she freaked out and started screaming. My cat ran away due to the noise, and my sister started yelling at me that I let my cat around her kids and saying that she was demonic. The next day, her husband called and said, unless the cat goes, I will never have them over again. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP, really, are your sister and her husband this terrible that they don't want their kids around a perfectly harmless cat? Now, I could understand it if the cat was like a mad cat and was like injuring them. Then that might be truly like a problem here. But your cat seems well tempered, and it doesn't seem like it's a problem for it to hang around kids. So I don't think you're a jerk. I think that they're overreacting here, that this cat is perfectly fine. So, yeah, not the jerk. Keep the cat. Throw the sister away.
Indeed.
Not the jerk. I'm sure Stargazer is an absolutely adorable precious. I want to see her. Pay the cat tax. OP, make sure you take all precautions to protect your kitten because the next time they come over, they may try to get rid of her as they consider her demonic. As they say, accidents or happen, or mysteriously your kitty ends up disappearing or getting lost or being poisoned, etc. That's actually a really good point. Some people really have a problem with black cats, especially, and that's really sad because they're just cats. They can't control how they look.
And they're so cute.
And they're cute. If more people want the cat tax, OP has to send the cat tax, but we don't have a cat tax to show today. That's why I made the cat tax demonic one for the cover image. Our next letter is titled, Will I be a jerk if I take my coffee maker home? I just found a new job closer to my home for more pay, and I put in my notice. The people here are acting like they'll miss me, but it's such a great opportunity that most of them are understanding and kind about it. Well, the issue is this. I have paid for nearly everything in our coffee break area out of my own pocket. The Keurig, all the coffee pots, sugar, creamer, I paid for it all. However, the only working coffee pot in the building, and when I joked to my store manager about it, and I said, what are you going to do without your morning coffee? Now my current coworkers are saying that, are you really going to steal the coffee pot when you leave? It's not stealing, it's mine, and it wasn't cheap to replace. So, internet strangers, will I be the jerk for taking home my Keurig and coffees? Edit, the floor manager that I made the joke to got her coffee this morning and said a snarky coworker had gone to the store manager to give me a credit card and the company card to go buy a new Keurig. Said keep the new one and the office one can have the old one. Currently walking around Walmart shopping on the clock. All right, well, I think that resolved itself. I'm glad that OP doesn't have to worry about this situation, and this shouldn't have happened to begin with. People should have been a little more respectful. It's really unfortunate when people take advantage of the coffee area and don't chip in and don't help with it. And it sounds like OP was pulling all that weight. And hopefully here in the future, more people will contribute to the coffee area. Or it'll be taken out of the company's, slush fund, so to speak. So I don't think you're a jerk, OP, for wanting to take back what was yours. You were letting them use it. You didn't give it to them. So, yeah. Let me know what you folks think, though. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, take it and run. Those zombies can buy their own coffee maker, especially if they pool their money. OP is only one person while they are many more, so what are they whining about? Run free OP, take the coffee machine. Take it now before it disappears. So lots of folks are saying that you should take your coffee maker and move along, OP. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Son That I Don't Like Him? I love my sons more than anything. I have 3. They were all raised to respect everyone regardless of their differences. My 21-year-old and my 19-year-old have that down great. My 16-year-old, however, is bullying a gay boy in his class, and I was less than happy when I found out. His cousins told me. I gave him a chance to invite him over for dinner and apologize, but he refused. He wouldn't say sorry at all. I get it, it's embarrassing to be told in front of your friends, but I don't care. I wasn't happy with his treatment and ended up grounding him, but it didn't seem to be affecting him at all, and he clearly wasn't learning his lesson. Well, I contacted the family and let them know what was going on, and they agreed to meet up for dinner, and again I gave my son a chance to apologize. He got extremely upset and angry, maybe both, and said that nobody even liked that F word, which is a horrible thing to say. Of course, I apologized and the family left. My son got into a big argument when they left, and he said he wasn't sorry again and that nobody likes the kid. I told him that I don't like him very much right now either. He got quiet and apologized and went to his room. I've been told that he's apologized to the student that he was bullying and his grounding has been lifted. He's still hiding in his room and we rarely speak. My ex-husband says I shouldn't have told him that I don't like him and that there's no excuse, and of course that his behavior is the reason that we're not together because I can't help but be a miserable jerk. I understand it may not have been the nicest thing to hear, but he was not listening to a word that I was saying and was being a downright bully. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
I think in this case, OP, you said that you don't like them right now, and now is the operative word. If you said something like, oh, I don't like you and I never have, that would be one thing, and that would be completely uncalled for. And you can dislike somebody in a temporary state. You do not have to like somebody all the time. There can be instances where you really dislike something that someone is doing and you wish they would stop and it makes you dislike them. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think there was anything wrong with being honest with your son because he was not acting very likable in that moment. And I think that when he heard you say that, it made him realize that maybe he wasn't being a good person when his own mother was saying that she didn't really like him how he was at the moment. They say be yourself, but I think that expression isn't really meant to say be who you are. It means to be your best personal self. And in this case, he wasn't being his best self. And I think it's important for him to realize that. We all need chances to grow. We all need chances to change. And I think that maybe this will be a turning point in him where he won't be a person who hates on individuals just because they're different from him. And I think that's a really important lesson to take away. So I think in this particular case, the way you phrased it wasn't overly harmful. And I don't think that you did the wrong thing here. I think that, you do need to have the positive encouragement now that he's apologized and have a heart-to-heart with him and talk to him further. Then this doesn't need to be the end of the conversation, but it needed to be the beginning of the conversation. So that's my thoughts. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, this sort of behavior has to be stopped, and it seemed that you managed to effectively stop it. You told him that you don't like him right now. Well, at the time, he was acting like a very unlikable person. He is doing some soul searching right now. Let him be, and he'll talk to you when he's ready. And OP says, thank you. Yes, it sounds as if this was the only thing that finally got through to him. If his own mother found him unlikable, even temporarily, then he knew she meant business and that he really had gone too far. Oh, and not the jerk, OP. If more moms were like you, there'd be fewer kid bullies growing up into adult bullies because nobody ever told them to stop bullying people and made it stick. That's a pretty good point. All right, folks, it's tea time. And tell me, Amber, what kind of tea do you have?
Water.
I have an empty cup of water. I forgot to make tea before this. I got so invested in making that graphic for the front of it, I forgot about tea entirely. I'm like, oh, this is great. I can't wait to make this graphic. This is going to be awesome. And then, yeah, I kind of forgot to make tea. I could go boil some tea right now and then just lie and be like, oh, I've had tea the entire time. But I didn't. If two's company and three's a crowd, what are 4 and 5? 9. Oh, a little addition joke for your day. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Mother She Can't Babysit My Daughter Anymore? For context, my boyfriend is a 26-year-old male and I'm a 24-year-old female, and we both have jobs that make us work during the day. We have a daughter, 5-year-old female, Sage. We live close to my mother and she offered to watch Sage during the day. However, 2 months ago, my mother started seeing this guy, we'll call him Mark. I didn't know him, so I told my mother that I didn't feel comfortable with him being around her at her house while she's babysitting Sage. She told me that he won't be there during the day and that he works very often, so they will only get to see each other every now and again. I believed her because she's my mother and we're very close, but the problem started when I was driving back to my house after picking up Sage. She said to me, Mommy, I really have to pee. Can we stop somewhere? I asked her, why didn't you do it at Grandma's? We just left 5 minutes ago. My daughter proceeds to tell me that my mother locks her up in my mother's room when Mark comes over. At this point, I'm confused and a little mad because Mark wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. When I get home, I talk to my boyfriend after Sage went to bed. He tells me that I should talk to my mom the next time I go to drop Sage off the next day. And I did that the first thing, and I asked my mom, is Mark coming over while you're watching Sage? And she tells me, no, why are you asking? I tell her what Sage told me, and she goes on to say that Sage is only 5 and she's making up stories to get attention. I tell her that Sage isn't a liar and that she knows better than to make up stories like that. We go back and forth a little bit, and I finally get her to fess up. My mother tells me that sometimes Mark comes over. When he does, she locks her in her room so that they can have adult fun time in the living room. The living room. I blow up on her saying, you've only known this guy for 2 months and you're already having him over with my daughter here. Not only could he have hurt you or her, but you're locking her up in a bedroom so that you can have adult fun time. I tell her that she isn't allowed to watch Sage anymore, and she started getting angry, saying that she wouldn't have let anything happen to Sage, and that she was allowed to do what she wanted to because it was her house. I didn't listen to her, and I took Sage and I went home. We haven't been back over there in a week. And I've had my sister watch Sage, but I need to either find a reliable babysitter or quit my job. Those aren't big deals, but Sage really misses my mother, but I'm just not ready to let her watch Sage. My boyfriend doesn't want my mother to watch Sage either, but now I feel kind of bad. Did I overreact? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP, I don't think that you're the jerk in this situation. Your mother told you that Mark wasn't going to be over. She lied to you, and then she tried to cover it up when Sage revealed the truth. This is not trustworthy behavior. Who knows what other things she'll cover up? And I know she says, oh, I wouldn't have let anything happen to her. You can't control a third party like that. Who knows what kind of person Mark is? You don't know him, and I can't fault you for not wanting to have a stranger around your daughter who you've never met and has only been around your mom for 2 months. That's a really short period of time to introduce a kid to a complete stranger, essentially. So I really do have a hard time faulting you here. I can understand why you would want to be protective of your daughter, and I think that's perfectly acceptable. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck.
Not to mention locking her in the bedroom.
Oh, and yeah, the locking her in the bedroom part. Like, I kind of buried the lead here. She locked your daughter in the bedroom. No, that's not acceptable at all. Not the jerk for that alone. Everything else is kind of icing on the cake. Did I overreact? How to put this gently? Let me think. No, you did not overreact, and preceded by some words that I will not be saying. Not the jerk to infinity and beyond. Underreaction of the year. The Earth would be scorched, salted, and nuked from space for good measure. Does OP understand if this little girl tells this to a teacher, mom and grandma might be going to jail? I could never be this blasé about child abuse. Yeah, this is actually like really, really bad. Really bad. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.